Hello and welcome to First Thoughts. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
Okay, Luce.
And today we're discussing the new monster movie Meg 2, The Trench, a sequel to 2018's The Meg, and a sequel that nobody really asked for outside of China. But here we are with this surprisingly successful box office smash that pretty much, assisted Barbie in nuking Ninja Turtles' chance at a box office hit. And here we are with more Big Shark. In fact, Tommy Wiseau of The Room is currently shopping around a movie he did called Big Shark. And I can't wait because I bet it's going to be better than this.
Apparently there's this movie attacked the three audiences that we've severely underestimated. One, it's how much people over in China like Big Shark movies, apparently. Two is apparently children don't want to watch Ninja Turtles, regardless of the critical fucking response. They also want Big Shark movie. And three, a bunch of moms that probably don't want to see it, but they just heard Jason Statham. Why not? It's the same theory I have for probably why a lot of dads went to go see Barbie, but their daughters are like, Margot Robbie, right on. You know what I mean? And we severely underestimated all three of those quadrants because they showed up.
Well, I mean, this year, all the stuff we've been watching, we've been doing First Thoughts for a few months now, and we've talked about some cool movies, some disappointments, some surprises. I wasn't even thinking about this. I had completely forgotten this was even happening. And then we had that trailer that used Hart's Barracuda to pretty good effect. I will give it that. But when I saw that trailer, I was like, this is going to tank. There's no way this is going to work. I had forgotten that the first movie made over 500 million globally. People love their sharks, man. Like more than any creature feature, it's fucking sharks that always dominates. They're always successful.
Yeah, I would say sharks lead the pack for I'd probably say alligators right behind it, and then insert any other creature I think we're slightly scared of.
It never seems to work on land, does it? The land ones are never successful.
No, you have you have your ones that I would say snakes have had a hit and miss track record. You've had your occasional snake based film.
I count those as water creatures, especially in the films they appear in.
Snakes on a plane.
Is that a creature feature? I guess it is, yeah.
Guess it is.
I haven't seen snakes on a plane.
Samuel Jackson being tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. All right.
When I think snake creature feature, I immediately think of Anaconda, not snakes in a plane.
Because Anaconda is at least. I mean, look, Anaconda is infinitely more entertaining, and I will accept nothing less. Shark movie's on it, and it kind of sucks because personally, Ninja Turtles was a better film, and it wasn't even budgeted that high. 70 million is the most modest budget I think I have seen this year by far. That isn't an A24 film. Let me preface that isn't an A24 film. And yet it couldn't make that bad because I was like, Big Shark movie, Jason Statham, let's go.
Well, I think people have grown very distrustful of IP, which is interesting. You can't bet on any franchise's longevity anymore. We've seen that happen with Marvel, with Indiana Jones, and now with the Ninja Turtles. It doesn't really matter if it's been successful in the past. People are just tired of franchises, really. And I guess now I don't consider a series of films a franchise until there's at least 3 movies.
Okay, I don't know what the actual the nitpicks is of a franchise in a series.
I don't care. I make my own rules. So
I mean, you didn't know these were based off a series of books, so let's balance.
They aren't, and I'm not alone in that. I don't know who has read or even seen Steve Alton's Meg franchise of novels, which has a third book called Primal Waters, which will probably happen in a few years.
Enough to warrant a movie. Two movies.
Apparently, two movies, two weirdly successful movies that are also incredibly lazy, like insanely lazy in their storytelling and their circumstances and their kills.
Well, if you actually look at the numbers and break it down, which is what's crazy. So the first one, I was looking at it in America, only made like 45 million total in America. Like that's the best it got.
Are
This
you
one,
serious?
yeah, and this one America did less, 30 million. So apparently America is not the reason these are successful. The international numbers, again, China and other countries are like eating up giant fucking shark with Jason Statham because that their international growth for the first one is fucking outrageous.
Do you think it's the shark that's raking in this money, or it's the Statham?
Stats, I mean, look at that, man.
It is, yeah. Action movies tend to perform better in Asian markets than any other genre for some reason. I don't really know why. Maybe it's,
Martial arts don't probably have something to do with that.
martial arts, John Woo's, films from Hong Kong. Like, people love action over there, which is cool. We love it over here, just not as much, apparently. But, you look at the Fast and Furious movies, they do fucking well over there. Like, Statham's in those. People love Statham.
Yeah, well, and also I think it's kind of like how yeah, I think it's funny because action here, American audiences don't really like because you always hear the complaints of the over editing stuff. That's why John Wick's been so huge here in America because it's a much different type of action, but it's basing off Chinese or not Chinese, Jesus, Asian cinema, in general, and their type of action. So I wonder if it's just like almost reversed in Asian countries where like, yeah, obviously their action films are big hits, but they view American action cinema as like something different from what they watch, which would be weird because I'm gonna say right now, Asian cinema does action better than we do. Um,
Yeah, but like you said, it's different. It's a different style. It could also be like, I bet there's also some hate watching where they're just like, look how fucking stupid these Americans are thinking this is a well edited action movie. Like, I think of like Taken 2 or 3, whichever it was, where Liam Neeson climbs that fence, that like 17 shot edited together clip of him hopping that fence.
because he's like in his 70s and he's not jumping over a fence like that anymore.
Oh, just have him open a door. Like, he doesn't need to do that. It didn't matter anyway. But
It's kind of like the whole de-aging thing when they start walking. You're like, no, no, no. You're clearly in your 80s or your 70s. I can tell. The de-aging only makes you look young. Don't make you move young.
or talk young, as we saw with Harrison Ford, because when an 80-year-old voice is coming out of a 30-year-old face, it's fucking jarring.
That took me a minute. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I'm only 30 years old and I'm gonna kill these Nazis. Ugh. No, come on. We're not stupid. But shark. Okay. So obviously the king of shark movies is Jaws, never gonna be touched. Everyone can try. None of these films are fit to suck Jaws' dick. So outside of Jaws, what are some of your favorite shark movies?
The top few that hit my head, actually, Jaws 2 is an underrated sequel, in my opinion. I quite enjoy Jaws 2. Deep Blue Sea, which is just a cheesy good time, and Open Water, which is way different from what you get out of any kind of shark film. Much more realistic, much more like about watching two people stuck in a very bad situation until, spoiler alert, not really because it's based off a true story, until they die. Because in real life, the couple did not make it. But those are the ones that come to mind. Like my three that I've gone back to, I like outside of that. As far as like some newer stuff, to not show my fucking age, I'm sound like the guy that doesn't watch anything new. I enjoyed The Shallows quite a bit with Blake Lively. I thought that was really good. And I haven't seen the sequel yet, but 47 Meters Down was another solid one I liked quite a bit. I enjoyed it. I thought that was a very neat concept. The sequel sounds interesting with sharks in a like an underwater cave that their eyes have adjusted to the light down there. It sounds wacky, and I'm interested in seeing it, but I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay. First off, I love that you're worried about being perceived as the guy who doesn't watch anything new on on our show where we go through stuff that's come out recently.
This is true.
Anyway, uh, let's go through those. So Jaws 2. I agree with you. Jaws 2 is underrated. It's fun. It's decent. I think it's got a killer third act that doesn't get enough credit. The shark just circling the kids on the raft. You don't know who's going to fall off that thing or when it's going to get tired of waiting. I love that. I love that Roy Scheider tried to get out of that so hard. He did not want to do that movie. So he was just bitter and angry and difficult the whole time.
Yes, he did not like doing that movie.
And he followed it with All That Jazz, his passion project. So at least he got to do that.
Yeah,
I think, I think he did Jaws 2 so he could do All That Jazz.
yeah, I think he was like a contract. The studio had him on something. It was weird. And like, look, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's obviously nowhere near Jaws, and I get that going in. But if you take that away and you just watch it on its like own merits, yes, it's obviously nowhere near that, but it's a fun enough sequel that, like you said, the third act when that shark is like hunting all the kids down, and like it's solid. There's a lot of good moments when it attacks the boat, or not the boat, the helicopter that tries to rescue them. Like Jesus Christ, like, and don't even say that's the most ridiculous thing, because if you think that's the most ridiculous thing, you have not sat through Jaws 3 and Jaws Revenge. It gets way worse.
I I do love that the fucking mayor is the same guy. Like there were no political consequences for the first movie. And this time when Brody's like, hey, you know how there's not just one shark in the ocean? Yeah, we got another one. And they're like, bullshit. There's no way that would happen twice. Like, nope, it would happen 4 times, actually. Amity. 4 times. Yeah, I have seen all of them, and I think Jaws 3 is the worst one. Jaws the Revenge is terrible, but you got Michael Caine at least, who's there to like keep things affable and lively.
Jaws the Revenge is terrible, but in a way that it's almost like beyond entertaining to watch it, because it's like, this is so goddamn bad. I can't stop watching.
Jaws the Revenge is like rewatchable bad. Like let's
Yeah.
let's get some beers and watch Jaws the Revenge. Jaws 3 is get that away from me bad.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like, it's like, okay, this is that whole scene that we love to mock because it's just fucking ridiculous when like the shark's getting ready to bust the glass and it's the slowest fucking movement because they're like, we gotta get that 3D shot.
I love that they're all like, oh my god, as this thing's just like very slowly. They had plenty of time to get out of the way. It reminds me of the guy getting rolled over by the steamroller in Austin Powers.
Oh yeah, he's like, stop.
There is a scene in Jaws 3 that legitimately freaked me out though. The guy who's like the Quint stand-in, who's like who's like a Quint Hooper hybrid, like this like oceanographer guy, gets like swallowed by the shark and the camera's in the shark's mouth. That was kind of freaky.
Oh yeah.
But the rest of the movie was dog shit. Jaws and SeaWorld. Great.
Right.
Then you got Deep Blue Sea, which on paper sounds absolutely insane.
And it is, honestly, like, it is insane.
Like sharks being used to create an Alzheimer's cure somehow. They science their way through that, and this thing makes these sharks like hyper intelligent. I do like that it's mako sharks and not great whites again. There's a lot of scary sharks out there. But yeah, I think it's fun. The CGI is a little dated. It's 1998.
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah, it's a CGI. It has, obviously, for anyone who wants to hint us the movie, it's the probably one of the most famous scenes of Samuel L. Jackson you've seen before. That even if you know it's coming, it's fucking hilarious. And then like it does have like, that movie has such like a weird sense of humor to it. Like the scene when I think it's was it Skarsgård? Fuck, what? Stellan, I think.
Was Stellan Skarsgård in that?
It was whoever was in the fucking Thor movies.
Yeah, that's Stellan. Yeah.
Stellan. When he's like on that fucking gurney or whatever and it's like pulled into the water and then the sharks like use them to ram into the glass to break it open. Like, it's some dark humor that you're laughing. You're like, God, I would hate to be that guy. Like they're not even eating him; they're just using him as a fucking ramage thing. Um,
I remember the lead scientist lady who's like behind all this, like she was like despicable and kind of like almost didn't get hers, but the test audiences were like, she needs to die for what she did. So
mhm.
they fixed that.
Yeah, like towards the end of the film, you clear. It's like she gets it. This was it Cuba? Was it Cuba in this one? Or LL Cool J? I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
well, this was Cool J. This was LL Cool J.
This was Cool J. Yeah, LL Cool J is in there, and dude, he's fucking fantastic as the cook.
You keep waiting for him to die. You just like you think there's no way LL Cool J stars in this movie. This is a cameo. When is it going to happen? And it doesn't. He makes it.
Hey, almost to knock you out. So
Don't call it a comeback. Uh, and yeah, that's a fun movie. There's like 2 direct-to-video sequels. I don't think anybody's ever seen.
what I've heard is apparently like a lot of people don't like the second one, but apparently the third one came out during COVID and was really good. I've heard a lot of people be like, "No, third one's great." I'm like, "What
That
the?"
that's a surprise.
Yeah,
Open Water, I haven't seen because I know it's going to be an incredibly depressing, unsettling movie because that shit does happen. It did happen to them. And
Mhm.
I don't want to watch a couple terrified out of their mind just slowly die.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't sound entertaining at all.
That's what I said. It's a really good movie. It is a very good movie. It's not want to go back to a lot, not because it's bad, because it's like you gotta like be mentally ready to sit through that movie. Because yeah, it's for those who don't know, the true story aspect of it, a couple was honeymooning. It was like shortly after like, going on a honeymoon, they did a scuba diving thing for it, and the guy who was driving the boat did not do a proper head count and left them out in the middle of the ocean. So they were stuck in shark infested waters, stranded. And by the time they caught on that, oh shit, 2 of our people aren't back on board, sharks had already fucking eaten them. They could not be found. In this movie chronicles, obviously I'm not the dialogue being exact because I doubt it's not like we have a transcription of what they were saying while they were stuck in the ocean. Um, that would be
We didn't
weird.
find them, but we found their dialogue.
Yeah, I'll be like, wait a minute, why don't we just okay. But this is a movie based off that story. And yeah, it's not exactly jovial, obviously. It's very depressing. You're watching a couple fight for their life, and ultimately, like in real life, they don't make it out. It's not that's the outcome. It's not, again, sorry if I spoil that, but like again, if you know the real life story of this, it's not a spoiler because they follow it to a T in that regard. But with that said, is it a solid film? Oh yeah, and when it comes to shark films, it's something I would recommend if you like shark movies to at least watch once.
Yeah, I will. I will eventually.
I
Uh,
know, I know they made direct to video sequels to that too, and I don't think you don't give a shit about them because it kind of takes away the point.
well, I think in one of them, like it's a group of like teenagers on like spring break or some shit all go scuba diving and they forget to pull the ladder down on the boat, so they're all like just barely able to reach the boat. Doesn't seem as quite a dire situation.
No, because I feel like you could probably find a way to make that work.
Yeah, climb on some shoulders. Yeah, that's doable. But can you imagine like scuba diving and you come up for air and the boat's gone?
That would God. That's why I'd look. I have zero interest in scuba diving, and open water is probably one of the reasons because of that. So I'm
Yeah,
watching that. Yeah, the idea of like you're doing your thing, you're having a good time. It's your honeymoon. You're freshly married. You're happy, and you come back up, and the boat's fucking gone, and you're miles from land.
I can't imagine like being able to hold on to anything. Like there's no it's the most perfect visualization of absolute despair. Just ocean as far as the eye can see. No one's coming. You're hundreds of miles away from any kind of rescue. All you're doing is running out the clock. I mean, that's fucking terrifying. I will not scuba dive just because I know about this movie. I haven't even seen it, but I'm never doing that.
Yeah, no, fuck. I'm
I will
not scuba.
snorkel. I will snorkel in the shallows. That is all I will do.
I just won't fuck with water like that.
Well, after I heard like there, with certain, you go deep enough, if you come up too quickly, like there's a small chance you could explode. Like Why would you
Plus,
ever do an activity where there's a risk that you could explode? Nothing's worth any kind of fun. That's
but
not worth any kind of fun.
they clearly don't know how to breathe underwater.
Well, almost every human on Earth doesn't know how to breathe underwater. There is one, and thankfully he was available to film this movie. That is a great segue into the Meg 2.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if you want to talk about the shallows or
that was too perfect. The Shallows is great. Awesome movie. We got it. We got to take that segue. It's too good.
yeah. So you just talked about, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is my opening right here.
Oh, yeah. So obviously a movie about a megalodon surviving into the modern age is not going to be as scientifically accurate as, say, something Christopher Nolan would make. That's okay. You
And
got,
Oppenheimer.
expected. I'm thinking, yeah, Oppenheimer, Interstellar. There are consultants to be like, no, the physics aren't correct on that. Meg, they were like, fuck it. Grab a grilled cheese from craft services and we'll film the, you know, depth pressure scene. It's insane. So we're just gonna hop around with it.
I feel like Statham didn't even like question that scene. He goes, I'm Statham. Of course I can do something like this.
Yeah, he is. You're not going to see Jason Statham on Inside the Actors Studio talking about the craft with his performance in the Meg films. That something about the eco pirate who could breathe underwater and hold up 300,000 tons of shark just spoke to me. It was the role of a lifetime. Like, no, as awesome as that would be, no. But you throw enough zeros on the end of a check, and Statham will do whatever he is being hired to do.
Exactly. He will show up to the job.
Yeah, we're gonna jump around. Like, we're not gonna narratively just like go through this movie. Because frankly, there isn't really one. It's just jumping from monster to dire situation to monster to fun island.
Yeah. Well, after we have to get through a whole lot of story, which look, that's been my biggest issue with like both these Meg films now is like I don't care about your plot. I don't care about it. So just give me the whole thing. It's kind of like when I go into the MonsterVerse films, right? It's why like 2014 Godzilla, I think is a good enough movie, but again, they focus too hard on like the human plot. I was like, I don't care. I just want to see Godzilla do his thing. But Godzilla versus Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's like, yeah, that's what I want. I get it. You gotta have some story to get things going, but just give me big carnage and fucking kaiju mayhem. With the Meg films, I'm like, give me enough story to just get me invested enough. But I just want to watch Big Shark do things. I don't care if it's PG-13 or R. Just give me Big Shark fucking things up. And both films just don't really seem like. Actually, more so this one, because I feel like the first one was only hampered by the fact that it almost felt like they were trying to ape Jaws the whole time. This one just feels like they were just not interested in giving us until like the third act Meg action.
I'm with you on that. Real quick, I want to go back to Godzilla. I have a question. The 2014's Godzilla. Do you think the film would be better if they had killed off Aaron Taylor Johnson's character and moved forward with Bryan Cranston as the protagonist?
Probably.
I think so. He had more of a personal connection to the creature. He was a scientist who'd been like researching this his whole life, trying to find out what killed his wife. It made more sense for him to be the human anchor of the movie.
Yeah, and also I'm just gonna say, like, I have nothing against Aaron Taylor Johnson. Doesn't seem like I don't nothing against him as a person, but most of the time, except for a few occasions like Kick Ass, he's kind of bland. Just gonna say it.
See, now that I've already established it, I just am picturing like franchise guys on Inside the Actors Studio talking about the craft. And now I'm picturing Aaron Taylor Johnson talking about Craven being like, it was just so great a script. I couldn't ignore it. It was the chance to play something so exciting and outside of my wheelhouse. And they rolled a clip of him like doing some bullshit that the movie's going to be in. I have no faith in that at all.
No, no. I mean, now you get to wait till next year.
I can easily wait till next year.
Yeah. Apparently, Sony has no faith in any of their films to just release them and make some money this year. They're just like, oh, you can't promote it with the actors, so delay everything.
So, I guess, does nobody at Sony know how trailers work? Or, I don't know. Like,
No.
they're doing this because you can't have like the press tour and the red carpet. Are you serious?
Yep.
That shows a fundamental lack of faith in the product, and that's the fucking problem. uh, okay. Anyway, yeah, Meg 2. Statham, eco pirate, working for this company. Actually, the eco pirate stuff never comes up again.
It really doesn't. And I can't remember. Was he an eco pirate? I think he was in the first film.
I had to read my review from 2018 to like get the gist of the Meg, and I guess he was a Navy SEAL like diver guy or something who was there to save his ex-wife. I do not remember the first movie at all. I don't remember any details. I remember shark and then like another slightly bigger shark.
Yeah.
I remember the Meg died halfway through the movie and then thinking like, no fucking way. Like we got more movie. There's going to be another shark. And then out of nowhere, big ass shark. Ah. And I'm like, okay, there's the real shark. This was a fake out shark. That's the real one. We're paying to see these movies.
I know. I'm aware.
Does the title like the Meg bother you at all? I find it ridiculous. Like Meg,
A little
I don't like
bit.
that.
I think it's just I just think of the Family Guy character every time.
Yeah, I just want to say shut up, Meg, every time.
Mila Kunis as Meg.
She should have voiced the shark. I'd give these movies both 5 out of 5 scores if
There'd
the
be
shark talked and it was voiced by Mila Kunis.
there'd be so many confused hormonal teenage boys in that audience. Just I don't know how to feel. It's a shark, but Mila Kunis' voice.
I disagree. I hope I'd be able to control myself knowing
I said
that's a shark.
a year hormonal teenage boy. I said that specifically.
I hope
I would
they
be
have
fine.
a little bit more faith in. Just because the voice is hot does not mean you're going to be able to move past that's a giant shark.
About it.
What
Because the movie itself's not interesting enough for me to move past anything else.
when you were a hormonal teenager, were you just getting hard at the like voices at like sexy voices attached to like realistic looking animals?
Possibly. I was just always ready to go. I was
That's
young, I was
concerning.
thriving. I was young, thriving.
Oh, anyway, I don't know how to segue that one. So there's a
Nope. I have the best segue so far this episode, so go on.
what happens in this movie? The Chinese are studying megalodons because people just can't fucking leave well enough alone.
No, and apparently the Jason Statham's love interest in the last film died between films, I guess.
Was she not killed in the first movie? That's what I assumed. Did that not happen in the first movie?
I don't think so. I think she was alive and they just killed her between. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Did you not get the actress back? Was she just not interested in Meg 2?
You might be. I think you're right. I just assumed like, oh, I guess the shark got her at the end of the last movie. I never questioned it. Do you remember how this like the little girl and him became so close?
I think she was in the first movie, but like more little.
She was. I remember that, but I don't remember how they specifically became like bonded.
I don't know. It's I guess the charisma of Statham of the staff just proved too strong for that child.
I'll take it. It's the best explanation I've heard yet. This organization who's determined to study the deep has a megalodon in captivity that they've raised from birth, and apparently it's one of the good ones.
Yeah, it's the little clicker.
Yeah, a little clicker, the billionaire who's like, oh no, this 70-foot monster is totally okay, I promise, and just goes to swim with it.
You know what's crazy? I would expect nothing less from human beings. We seem to have this insane theory that we can control any goddamn animal known to man. And I'm like, no, they're animals. They're driven by a different instinct than us. They
Weirdest part is every single time we're proven wrong. Every time.
Look, if you guys want a reality check for the audience members of like how much animals don't actually give two shits about us, listen to the audio recording of the guy who took his girlfriend that loved bears to go study bears when they were active, and there's recording of when they both got mauled to death. And I've listened to it, and it's haunting.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And you know what? I have zero sympathy for a man who's going to claim, "Oh, grizzly bears are warm, loving creatures, and I can live among them." And then he gets mauled by a grizzly bear because abso-fucking-lutely, of course he does.
Yeah, and his girlfriend, he dragged her to it as
That
well.
sucks. The surprise here would be if he got like struck by lightning and a bear tried to save him and couldn't.
Yeah, that would shock me. But getting mauled. Now, with that said, like, I don't put like it's very haunting to listen to that. But just to give you an idea of like how much nature and animals don't give a shit how much we try to do.
It's what I think, every time there's like a story about somebody's pet chimp that like ripped off their friend's face. Like, yeah, it's a wild animal. It's, my great grandfather had a pet monkey who attacked my uncle when he was a kid, and my great grandpa killed that monkey.
Yeah, as you should. It's a
Thankfully,
wild animal.
before Sean got his face ripped up.
Yeah, people forget that like the thing with dogs and cats is that we've domesticated them. That's why they are the way they are. They have been domesticated to be people friendly. With that said, just so you guys know, if you die and your pet's hungry, well, it has been known that they've now have a new form to eat. So even then, animal instincts will kick in if they're not being taken care of.
But in this movie, this Chinese billionaire who never, like, the craziest part about that character is he's not the bad guy. Like,
No,
I
and
kept
also
expecting that to happen.
yeah, and also another thing I want to point out because you mentioned like this Mexican, the recurring joke they kept trying to make of him surviving constantly. I was like, this is not funny. Like we can stop it now.
Like the fact that he was like going out of his way to save people, I was like, was this on purpose, or did they like accidentally give his actions to a different character? Because like the billionaire is supposed to be the guy who gets eaten halfway due to some shit that he did the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I was supposed to get dodged and he didn't.
I thought the Meg was gonna get him in the tank the way they did that scene. I'm like, shit, it got him. He's dead
I
now.
would love if like that was the first movie's first kill, where it's like, hey, look how tight I am with this shark, and then it just straight up ignores it and devours him in one bite. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect mood setter for this movie.
Also, like, look, do you really want to risk that? Like something that big? Like, look, I have an insane fear of like just being trapped in the ocean and like drowning or something. Getting swallowed by something whole. Like, I think I'd rather get chewed up first. Know that if I'm gonna get digested, I'm dead. Not stuck in this fucking mouth.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be a shark turd, I'd like to be small pieces and not, the one that's gonna ruin his night. I
have some backup down there.
Yeah, I don't. But maybe as some revenge, it's like, fuck you, I'm gumming up the works. So maybe there's that too. I'm terrified. Yeah, I don't trust the ocean at all. I don't swim in it anymore. I don't. First off, it's gross. We've polluted that fucker to an insane degree. It's, you swallow that water, you're gonna vomit for days, probably get hepatitis.
I'll become a superhero.
Jury's out. That'd be great. That doesn't usually happen. But science, you got to test shit a lot before you get a winner.
Yeah, we got to test this hypothesis.
Yeah. I have this fear where like if I open my eyes underwater, I'm gonna like be face to face with a giant eyeball, like the size of a car. Some like ungodly Cthulhu-like creature just decides to get up that day, and I'm in the way.
Yeah, my fear is like I'll be face to face with a shark. Like I've seen videos before where like one video was like this guy in Australia. He was like him was jumping off a cliff into the water, and when he did it, and they had GoPros attached. When he did it, he goes in the water, and you see as soon as he hits the water, a shark was already like swimming up just on its path, just right where he landed. And luckily, because the sun hit that he did, the thing turned around, but it was like right fucking there.
Jesus. That's terrifying.
Yeah, and it's Australia, which, in case anyone doesn't know, they have great whites off the coast there.
You remember that story about the great white shark that was tagged, and then like the thing had like a dramatic drop in body temperature, and like they concluded that it was eaten by something way bigger.
Yeah,
Fuck that noise.
so megalodon might be full. We don't know.
Yeah. Great white sharks don't have a lot of predators.
No, they're considered top of the food chain in the ocean. So I was like, holy shit.
God, I did like
Yeah,
the opening with like the food chain at work, where like the bug gets got by the bird, and the bird gets got by the dinosaur, and the dinosaur gets got by the T-Rex, and the T-Rex gets got by the megalodon.
yeah. I remember that opening and everything. Like, okay, this movie knows what it is. We're in for a fun ride. So I thought.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah,
Um, so what was Good Shark's name again?
Haichi, I think. Something like
Uh,
that.
uh, Hygie. Yeah, you're right. Good memory. Uh,
I have my moments.
this thing's, in heat or something, and it's being a weird, giant, monstrous shark is attacking people. How strange.
Oh no.
Yeah. And they all decide to go into the trench to explore. And Jason Statham's niece ish, whatever, um,
Otter-ish thing. I don't
yeah,
know.
his little friend stows away, and they just decide to continue on with the mission instead of turning around and dropping her off before they go into uncharted monster waters.
Which brings me to I'm almost positive, and I'm not a smart man. A thermal layer doesn't exist in the goddamn ocean.
I mean, it's a big place. There's a lot of shit in the ocean, but I don't think there's, well, I don't know about a thermal layer, but I know there's no thermal layer with like the fucking lost world underneath it.
Okay, I was like, something about this is off, scientifically speaking. Something.
That's where you draw the line with the science.
No, as soon as I thought that, then they established that Statham, just by being himself, can breathe underwater and not get crushed. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the kind of movie I paid to watch.
I was laughing the whole time. There was a whole family right next to me of like three kids, mom and dad, and I'm just sitting there like chuckling to myself, just like, are you fucking kidding me? I think I said that under my breath at that point. I was like, what? Fuck you.
Thing about this scene, the fact that one, we haven't look. Okay, I'm pretty sure we have not done that much deep water exploration because even most of the craft we design have issues maintaining a structure deep down because of the pressure of the water at that point.
Here, I'm looking it up right now. How deep have we gone in the ocean? Water from the deepest point on Earth joins the museum collection. Last year, an expedition to the Mariana Trench made history by conducting the deepest crewed dive ever, completed at 10,927 meters.
Goddamn, so one time.
Yeah, but the trench in the movie where Statham forces water into his face to swim a few feet is 25,000 feet deep.
And based off what we watched, they regularly explore it. There's a fucking base down there.
Yeah.
There's already
How the
another
fuck
crew.
did they build that?
Yeah, there's another crew already down there. When they lose their two submersibles, they have to walk it because in their special sci-fi suits that can withstand the pressure. And then the piece de resistance, Statham can breathe under this water just fine.
It's it's so great that they managed to prepare for this exact situation. Even the little girl's like, "Don't worry, I packed a suit." Like, good foresight there.
Yeah, I was like, dear God, you would not survive that, and also it'd be way darker down there, so much darker down there.
I'm just picturing the construction process on this underwater base. I mean, first off, 25,000 feet deep. So good luck, with all your shit not collapsing into itself. But also, there's giant ass sharks just wandering around, snatching up anything that moves. No, like, and secretly, no. No way. This place is constantly being monitored by the Chinese. There's no way you could just sneak a mining operation into it.
That's
Oh,
what I like. And again, none of this would really kind of sign off the film, just embrace it more, embrace the big dumb funness of it more. Because I'm really, it was like, it's like, okay, good. One I can think of right off the top of my head is when Sisu came out. There's so many instances in that movie that guy should not survive even halfway through the fucking movie. But because the film committed to its concept, committed to what they were doing, I was like, fuck it, I'm on board at this point. I don't care. John Wick kind of started doing the same thing when like he can just jump out of fucking buildings and survive. But again, because they commit to what they're doing, I can go, oh fuck it, whatever. Because this film doesn't really seem to commit to what it's doing. I'm just like
well,
watching, like, god damn it.
it's all about tone. Like you gotta, if you're gonna have a goofy, outlandish, this is nuts kind of tone, like Sisu, I'll accept anything. I will accept a dude walking away from a fucking fiery plane crash with zero injury and then go into the bank. But sure, why not?
Sure. Or when he fucking like pickaxes his way into said plane, or uses a fucking dead body to not get hit by 50 cals, a 50 cal machine gun, which would totally kill him. Or when he gets hanged, survives that too.
There is no stronger force on the planet than revenge. We all know this.
Yeah. Point is, if you haven't seen C3, watch it. It's a fucking awesome movie. But go on with your point.
That on Blu-ray, I keep meaning to pick it up. Uh, I forgot what my point was. Oh yeah, tone. So the Meg films want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to maintain like a serious vibe while also trying to embrace some goofy shit. And what you end up with is a disjointed mess.
Yeah.
Like you need to go in one or the other direction. You can't have both or it does not work.
Yeah, I'm gonna say right now, your film's called The Meg. It's about a giant fucking shark. Don't take it seriously. Just embrace the chaos.
And also, anyone who saw the first movie and then was going to see this was not like, oh, I hope most of this movie's about corporate espionage. That's what I want. Oh, why? Why decide on that? Most of this movie is who betrayed Jonas and the Chinese and who is stealing their like data for this rich woman for working for some unnamed company who's financing a mining operation to get some precious metals that are never named because nobody knows how to fucking research anything in this team.
Sounds
And
exciting.
yeah, one guy blows up the underwater cliff that causes a hole in the thermal layer. One of my favorite nonsense moments is when Jonas is like is that going to be closed? And I think the Chinese billionaire is like, oh yeah, probably in like an hour. Like, how the fuck could you possibly know that?
He just does.
Why not? And then three big sharks and an octopus escape the thermal layer and attack Chinese spring break. And that's about 10 minutes.
Yeah, also the octopus severely underutilized. Like, I was like, oh shit, we got China octopus. This should be fun, and it doesn't really get used all that much.
This, when a Chinese billionaire is getting attacked by the octopus and his best friend shows up to save him, when Good Meg comes out of nowhere and attacks the octopus, I don't know why, but the only thought I had in my head was Wolverines.
Wolverine.
Like I expected the Meg to have like a giant headband on. It was ridiculous. Like I I don't know. And there were those little like dinosaur looking things that took up way too much of this movie.
It kind of reminded me of the little things in Lost World Jurassic Park. The little dinosaurs that pecked you to death.
Yeah. Yeah. Or well, in the movie, it just kind of puts you in the hospital for a little bit.
Yeah.
In the book, they ate a baby.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have the book. I finally got the books. I haven't read them yet, but I finally got the books. I'm thinking of Peck because I just listened to the new time suck on Emmett Till, and apparently Peckerwood, Peckerhead, or something was an old slang for white rednecks.
Peckerwood. Yeah. Peckerhead is just an idiot.
Yeah.
Like a dickhead.
Yeah.
But yes, Peckerwood.
So no.
Yeah.
Hex on my vocabulary. Uh, yeah,
But yeah, these things were too prominent in this movie, and they don't really do anything. We don't lose any good guys, except for like the three people who like die underneath the. I don't
yeah.
remember.
And
I don't remember.
actually, I don't really answer. Fun fact, the one female that survived, the Rita's whatever the fuck her name was, that's Cassandra in fucking Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, cool.
So good for her. She's in the Meg movie now.
I kept trying to pick that character, but the game kept freezing.
She's really good in that game.
I hope I get to find out.
I played as her in the game when I played it.
She was also, she never kind of gets, I mean, she was, considering killing Jonas and like told them to, leave people behind, but she just never kind of learns anything.
No, she kind of disappeared. Well, no, she hopes towards the end. She hopes towards the end. I did, and I kind of wish the trailer ruined it because I actually did get a good chuckle out of the joke when like that one person, I guess, from the first one betrayed them. Because there's characters that returned that I just did not remember. I was like, okay, whatever. But when she did like the tap on the glass, I'm like, see, it's fully Meg proof, and the Meg just fucking eats her. I was like, I got a good chuckle. I laughed a little bit.
It's such a big character death. It is weird that they put that in the trailer.
Maybe because they didn't have a lot to sell this movie on. I mean, Jesus Christ! The whole climax takes place on Fun Island. As soon as they said, it, I was like, "This is the naming we're doing for this. This is how hard we tried."
Yeah, I'm surprised the oil rig isn't like just called like science rig.
You gotta go to the rig.
Oh, it's like might as well just call Jonas like British badass or something like that.
Mixed with a fucking their Chinese martial arts fucking international superstar playing a fucking CEO of a company.
Was Jess was the lady who betrayed them, right?
Yeah.
Was she in the first one?
I honestly don't remember.
These movies have no staying power at all. I can tell you in like a month I'm gonna forget this one.
I'm already slowly forgetting because like it just doesn't really impress me. They even when they said that line, when you said that line from Charles 2, I was like, Charles 2 is a better film. Or actually, I haven't seen it in years. And I remember it better than this film.
Also, I don't consider a reference when you're just like in the movie. You're like, see, like in Jaws 2, you don't get to be a little smarter than that. Come on.
Come on, try harder movie.
So let's talk about the monster deaths. So one of these guys, Statham gets on a jet ski with some bombs latched to poles and just the plan was for all of them to get on jet skis. There was only one jet ski, and without hesitation, he was like, I got this one, don't worry. And they're like, yeah, go ahead.
You're Jason Statham, you got this. We're fine with it.
He bombs one of them. I was hoping for a little, smile, you son of a bitch, or something like that. You're gonna blow up a shark. There's, wouldn't hurt to a little tip of the cap.
You're already ripping off our films. Why not just do that, right?
Yeah. And then the other one. This might be the most asinine, dumb, like just death in movie history. Statham picks up a helicopter blade like it's a giant fucking Final Fantasy sword and spears the megalodon, like holding it up. There's a shot of his leg digging into the ground like he's using all his strength to hold up 300,000 tons of fish. Now, I'm sure Statham works out. It's very obvious he works out. I'm sure he's a very strong man. No human being on earth is that strong. I don't like that the movie tries to convince me that this dude held up a megalodon like it's a prized fucking marlin he's going to mount on his office wall.
Well, it's Jason Statham. He's capable of these things, all right?
Unbelievable. Like, oh my God. And then, of course, the octopus gets devoured by Good Meg, who is, I guess, just free to be a giant ecosystem destroying monster in the ocean.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, no, when they did that with Statham, I was like, oh my God, he is a superhero. We're doing a Fast and Furious thing, and he's a superhero in this sport, isn't he? Han's like, yes, get it.
The thing about sea fights, the sea always wins.
God. When he said "see you later, chum," I was like, "Oh God, there's a one-liner."
Oh yeah, was it Morales?
The bad guy that we were supposed to have this connection with that I had zero connection with. I was like, I'm supposed to like be invested in this like rivalry because I'm
And it was
not.
Montez, not Morales. My mistake.
Well, way to fuck that up.
Well, I mean, to be fair, yeah, I don't have anything. I'm drained on this movie. But yeah, there is this pre-existing relationship we never get, and he just gets. I think he gets eaten by one of them.
Yeah, because Statham like hits him with a knife or something. He throws blood into the ocean, and he sees that, and he's like, "Oh, the Meg's going to help me," and it does because he like shoots him into the fucking off the dock, and the Meg eats him.
So Jason Statham has in this franchise killed 4 enormous, world-destroying sharks.
Yes, he's very good at it. You could say.
Yeah. What the hell's going to happen in the inevitable third movie? And I can't wait to talk about that in 2025 and have zero memory of this movie.
He is going to go inside it and rip it in half from the inside.
Journey to the Center of the Meg. I will 100% watch that.
Meg 3 with the vengeance.
Live Free or Meg.
Hard.
Meg and Furious. 2 Meg, 2 Furious.
Meg and Furious Tokyo Drift.
I mean, why not? Let's go to Japan.
Fast Meg. That just sounds like a porno.
Considering the Meg 2 used the novel title of the second book, Primal Waters is probably going to be the name of Meg 3.
Probably.
So I'm going to look into that right now and see what big extra monsters are awaiting us. Fuck, there is a 4th book. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of these. There are 8 Meg novels. There's the Meg, there's the Trench, there's Primal Waters, Hell's Aquarium, Origins, Night Stalkers, Generations, and Purgatory. All with Meg at the front of those. Holy shit. We have Meg for decades. This is never going away. This is the Shark Hellraiser. Enjoy.
Nice. This just blew your mind. Yeah, I'm really shocked you do not know there's like a series of novels.
I'm not outside of Jaws. I'm not reading books about giant sharks.
Why not?
Because again, nothing's gonna hold up.
Meg Purgatory? Come on. That clearly means one thing. Purgatory is filled with Megs.
How? There's no way these are like any different, right? Like, how many ways can you do Big Shark versus English Guy?
8 times.
Damn it. Yeah, walked into that. Well, all right. Meg 2 is done. I'm done. I don't want to talk about Meg 2 anymore. This is actually the second time we've attempted to record this podcast because we tried yesterday, got not a decent amount into it, but then we had an outage. We got 4 to 5 minutes in, and we had an outage problem, so we had to scrap it. So I think this version is better because we made it farther. And now we can put this to bed.
Yes. Just put it out to sea and give it a rest.
Yeah. Just impale it with a helicopter blade like we're goddamn He-Man. That is it for Meg 2. So next up on the release calendar this Friday is Last Voyage of the Demeter, a very exciting looking Dracula movie that tells the story of the brief bit of Dracula where the Count made a sea voyage from Transylvania to England, and the ship showed up at the docks completely empty, apart from a coffin. What happened to all those people? Well, this movie's going to tell us.
Yeah, I'm very curious if they'll stick with the ending of the chapter, or if they'll do some like kind of revisionist thing to make it a little bit different. I'm very curious on what they'll do because anyone who knows anything about the Dracula movies or the book, like, yes, that chapter ends with like none of the crew being on that boat.
Yeah, Dracula is going to win. But yeah, the movie might, because it's not like part of a franchise or anything. It's not like this is, Dracula 2, Dracula Harder. This is, a self-contained story. So it will probably take some liberties, keep itself from being predictable. And, the monster has to die in the end in some capacity. So
yeah,
maybe they'll take out this creepy-looking Nosferatu-esque Dracula who looks to be all monster and no man.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks exciting. We're going to be talking about that one. And I hope it is a success. Jesus Christ. I mean, who knows? This could be a huge disaster, or it could make $400 million. I don't know anymore.
Horror might be the safest bet. I don't know if you read recently, but Insidious, The Red Door, highest grossing fucking horror film of the year. 182 million.
That's it. That's all the highest grossing horror movie of the year made.
Yeah, it beat Megan at 180 million.
Shit. How did Talk to Me do again?
26 million on a $4.5 million budget. And Scream 6 also got close. It was like 168, 170 million.
Shit, this thing beat Scream. Okay, well, it's up to you, Saw. show them what horror's made of. God damn it!
I believe in you, Jigsaw.
Yeah, you got this, John. Fuck up those assholes who tricked you into thinking you were cured of cancer.
Wear that hat backwards. Show us how much younger you are.
I am very excited to talk. I can't wait for Socks.
It looks really good, actually.
Well, all right, take it easy. Go Socks, and we will see you later.